All right, so we are here in our first edition of our CRQ Champions Newsletter. This is a new venture that we're embarking on. We're very excited about what we're doing to bring this to you all, and I'll go ahead and introduce myself first. I'm Zach Cossairt. I lead the Cyber Risk Advisory practice at Safe Security. So I lead a very condensed, very talented group of risk experts that help our customers enable the safe security platform in an operational way within their organizations. The team and I help kind of supplement our awesome product by helping people bring it to life and influence real life decisions. With me today, I have someone you might be familiar with by the name of Tony Martin-Vegue. I'll hand it off to you, Tony, to introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you.
Hey, Zach. It's great. Thank you for the introduction. It is great to be here. And thank you to all the viewers and listeners. We are so excited to bring this newsletter to you, bring this video to you. I've known Zach for a while, even before he joined Safe Security, and he's always someone that I can always have great conversations with about risk quantification, CRQ, the tools, techniques, the methodologies, what is working, what's not working. So I've always appreciated those conversations with you, Zach. So that's why I'm so excited to be here and just continue that and share what we've talked about with everyone. So my name's Tony Martin-Vegue, and right now I quit my job at Netflix a couple months ago. I built the risk quantification program there. I was there for 6 years. I just left to pursue consulting and advising, and I'm writing a book called From Heat Maps to Histograms, A Practical Guide to Cyber Risk Quantification. And Zach's read several of my chapters and provided great feedback, so I really appreciate that. That's me. It's great to be here.
Yeah, thanks for introducing yourself, Tony. I was very, very honored and very happy when you reached out to me and asked me if I would read some chapters. When I saw your announcement of the book, it was one that I put on my mental checklist to reach out to you when the early edition comes available, because I think myself and plenty of other people in this field are very, very eager to see all that incredible knowledge that's been in your head for so many years and on blog posts and things like that into a formal book, something tangible that they can touch and reference for years to come. So I think on behalf of everyone else in this field, thank you for writing this book for us. I'm very excited to see the finished product. And
I appreciate that. Thanks, Zach. I appreciate that.
Of course. Yeah. So, getting to what we're doing today, this is really Fireside Chat. So Tony and I, we're not scripting this. We're just kind of chatting about some topics that we ourselves find interesting, and we hope that you also find interesting. That's why we're here after all. And this first one that we're going to be talking about today is one that is not only informative, but also, a bit humbling, because we're going to be talking about some of the failures that we've had, and not all failures. We're not just talking about the times that we fell flat on our face, but we're going to talk about the successes too. But I think it's important to talk about both of those things, because it's inevitable in a risk program. You're going to see failures, right? No one's perfect at this. We're still in a field that is so incredibly new. Like I know it's been around for a while now, and we've been thinking that we're, maturing, and we are, of course, but we're still relatively in our infancy when we're talking about in relation to the methods that we're trying to replace, right? Those qualitative methods that have been around for so long. So you're going to encounter challenges. You're going to encounter failures. And for me personally, I would say that the failure that I had, and by failure, I just mean something that I had to overcome, is when I was first starting this out, I kind of expected people to just kind of follow me into the risk management promised land. I knew that I had, reason in my head and logic, and I knew that what I was doing was absolutely better than the proposed alternative. And I kind of just expected people to trust me in that. I thought that if I brought to the table, the points and the evidence and the science, that people were just going to be like, yeah, that's a no-brainer. Why would we not do that? But what I found was that's something that a perfectly rational person would do, right? If we're talking to Mr. Spock here, I know Tony likes Mr. Spock references.
Oh, I do.
If we're talking Mr. Spock here, of course, Spock would look at us and say, well, yeah, let's do this. You know, why would we do this other way? But we're not dealing with Mr. Spock, right? We're often dealing with Homer Simpson sometimes, or people that are just they're emotional, right? There are things that they're overconfident humans. Just as human beings, we're kind of latched onto what we do. We're resistant to change. We're influenced by cognitive biases. That's very close, near and dear to my heart. So, you know, that's something that we just have to deal with. You know, people are motivated by incentives, by social influence, by their own habits, you know, fear of change, right? That's a huge one here. So we can't expect people to just adopt new frameworks, a new way of doing things, and new processes, unless they, for one, see how those changes are going to actually make their jobs easier, unless they can actually see how these risk assessments are going to make their decisions clearer and better, and most of all, how they're going to make their risks more manageable. Because that's really what we're doing here. I learned very quickly that risk management is not about pulling people along. You know, it's very much about kind of creating that decision-making environment that really allows them to get from point A to point B and action risk in a way. But it has to be intuitive, right? It has to be somewhat automatic. We have to replace those old habits they had with new habits. So that's kind of what I encountered at first, one of the big failures I had. And, you know, we overcame it. You know, at Equinix, we definitely got to the point where we understood that we couldn't just pull people along. We started to align what we were doing kind of with human nature and not like so much worked against it. We didn't just trust our fuel that we were adding, all the positives that we were adding, but we really, really were focused on what are the frictions, what are the barriers, what are the things that we need to remove so that people can get from point A to point B and actually use the results that we were using. So that's kind of one of my primary failures. How about you, Tony?
So it wasn't a case of you build it and they will come. It wasn't that.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. No.
I mean, my story is really similar to yours. I think when I first learned about FAIR and I read The Failure of Risk Management by Doug Hubbard. So bookmark that. Listeners, if you haven't heard of that, check that book out. And I was just absolutely convinced. Risk matrix is bad. We got to go quantitative, and we have to go quantitative right now, because if you don't, you're a failure, right? Like that's what you think. So I went to work the next day and you know, announced to everybody, you know, this is what we're doing. And it just doesn't work that way. And even that was 12 years ago. And even today, qualitative methods, red, yellow, green, it's still the de facto language of risk. It is. And it will pass an audit. Red, yellow, green will pass an audit by any standard, by any measure. So those are the parameters that we're working under. And you can fight it like I did in the very beginning and try to replace your 200 line risk register with risk quantification overnight. That didn't work. So you could fight it and do that, or you can work within it and make friends and allies along the way. And all we care about is just making better decisions, right? We all just want to help our company make better decisions, execute their value proposition, execute their mission and their vision, whatever that might be. That's all we want at the end of the day. So we have to work together for that. And I think that that's where I failed in the beginning. And where I succeeded is when I flipped the script on myself. Instead of fighting people and fighting the de facto methodologies that everybody uses. And to be honest, frameworks tell you that this is fine. And just started working within it and just trying to help people. And that's where I got, I think that's where I got a lot of success.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. And following you for a while and seeing you write about that, you can kind of learn about how you built the Netflix program. And I think you did a fantastic job on just like being very intentional with how you kind of frame change in all that you do, which is really, really important because we don't like change as humans. We don't like when things are taken from us or replaced, right? So like framing this as not something that we're replacing, we're not taking things away from you, but we're actually enhancing your decision-making ability. And if you want to keep your red, yellow, green, or your high, medium, low, that's completely fine. But let's just put valid numbers and
some pressure around it.
Right. And then you can have what you want, because I know that's what you want to make a good decision. That's all you need. But that's it. It's been very, very fun to watch you build the program out there at Netflix. And I think you did a great job of handling the change management of it all. Yeah.
Zach, what's the one piece of advice you would give to someone who's trying to do their CRQ program for the first time? And we're all going to make mistakes, but what's the one thing you would tell them?
I would tell that person to not shy away from the hard things. And what I'm getting at there is we can get caught up when we're building these risk programs. If we do too much of the low-hanging fruit, which low-hanging fruit's good, you should definitely do that. But if we do too much of that and don't do the harder things that need to be done, such as, your governance in place and your decision-making frameworks and working the 3 lines model and things like that, you kind of get caught up in almost like an illusory progress, where you think you're kind of making progress, but as our buddy Gav says, that risk theater thing is a real thing, right? And you can get caught up in risk theater if you don't go out and do those harder things that allow your program to actually become, more programmatic and more continuous. And you can get caught up in that project management approach where you're just doing these ad hoc analyses. So I'd say don't shy away from the hard things. Find out what those hard things are. Be methodical with how you tackle them, but go and do those things, because it's going to make it easy for you on the back end. Yeah.
I love it. That's great advice.
How about yourself?
Well, I was going to say something like yours, but I can't steal yours. So I will go with my number 2 piece of advice, which would be start slow. Make friends, make allies. Don't try to rip the Band-Aid off. And that's it. It's just as simple as that.
Great piece of advice. I always say don't boil the ocean.
Yep.
Bad for your risk team, and also bad for the stakeholders who are just going to be way too overwhelmed. So yeah. And the relationship thing is huge, because this is a culture change, right? You have to be likable in this. You have to be able to go to people and be their friend. Now, us as risk managers, sometimes we don't get construed as friends to these people, but we do. We're helping them make the decisions. So be likable. Yeah, I like it. Good stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's a wrap. We'll put links in the newsletter to the 2 books that we mentioned. And thank you everyone for listening, and please tune in next time. The next newsletter drops very soon.
Very much appreciate everyone's time. And we'll see you in the future editions. Thanks everyone.